It's absolutely not okay. Anything under an 85 is not okay.
I'm sure there's a bunch of brown kids on this app that can relate to this. I know I can.
Hey people, how y'all doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome to my channel. How you are doing? Hope you guys are doing fantastic. So this video, it is a very interesting video, especially if you're from the African or you're from a black family. This video is going to get you, okay? So this video is a video of a mom reporting her daughter to her dad, and she was literally telling the daughter how the daughter wasn't doing well in school, how the daughter's score was low. And they went on to talk about how, oh, our grade is low, oh, you have to be a doctor. And the dad was literally saying that I'm not one of those parents that's going to say, oh my God, that no, do whatever you like. No, you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be a doctor. And this just struck a bigger conversation. I have a lot to say, especially from someone that I think I have dyslexia. I got that all the time, being criticized about my grade and how it comes out. So anyway guys, let's go check out the videos. People respond to it, and then also the mom also came to explain the situation and give her thought on this, which we're going to see. But also I want to know your own take about this video and this conversation down in the comment section, okay? But before we get into this video, if you have not subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Here on the channel we have amazing conversation, we have banging conversation, and you don't want to miss out on the conversation. We post video every single day, so go ahead and smash the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you get notified once I upload video, because I post video every single day, 2 videos every day. Okay, so with that all said guys, let's go check out the video and then we'll come back and talk more.
Asana, tell Appa that you had a 50 on your science test.
50? Did you? Why are you laughing?
I'm not.
That's not okay.
That's
I mean, you're joking.
times 2. Got a 100. That's actually what you would say if I got a 50. You would have been like, that's not okay.
It's absolutely not okay. Anything under an 85 is not okay. I'm not going to be one of those like, live your life, let her live her life. No, you need to study hard so you can do whatever you want to do.
You can be a lawyer too. And you can be a lawyer too. He negotiated with me and got $20 somehow. Asana, tell Appa that you had a 50 on your science test.
Let's start off this video by saying I love Vidya and her platform, and her family is so cute. But her videos are always insane when it comes to like the academics of her children, because there will always be mostly white people in her comments being like, I could never deal with strict parents like you. You have too many academic commitments for your kids. They can't get under an 85. They go to Kumon. First of all, I was a Kumon kid, and was it fun? No, but I'm really happy for the fast math skills I got from Kumon. And second of all, if I got under a 90, it was a problem. 85 is a little generous, but I think the balance comes from not only holding your children to a high standard, but also being there for them if they're genuinely struggling with something, not letting them just flail, which means that you have to be an active participant in your children's education. And yes, usually the delivery of South Asian parents isn't always the best, but I will say that they do play a huge role in their children's education, and their children do thank them for it later on. And they thank them through financial freedom and having the ability to pick whatever career you want. That's what Vidya's husband said in the video. He said, like, get good grades and you'll be able to do whatever you want. I'm genuinely scared for this group of millennial parents that's coming up that are like, no rules, just iPad. No one cares about grades. Like, no. You need a balance. You need structure. Kids need structure. They need schedule. Also, prepping your children to have a schedule and be high achieving are general life skills, whether they go into academia, higher education, whatever they do, just good life skills to have.
Asana, tell Appa that you had a 50 on your science test.
If people spend as much time investing in their kids' education as they did writing think pieces about this wholesome family, maybe, just maybe, the majority of Americans in this country would be able to read past a 5th grade level. Literacy rates are in the toilet, and you're upset that this woman and her husband take the time to provide resources so that their kids are proficient in educational concepts that they're learning, so that they can be successful throughout their educational career, to then be able to parlay that into any other thing that they want to do in the future. I will never understand why people get upset at parents being parents. They're not your best friend. It's not their job to coddle you and handhold you and just let you do whatever you want. It's their job to steer you in the right direction, to make sure you are set up for success. And that's exactly what they're doing. They take vacations. They live in a nice home. They obviously love and cherish their children, but they also have instilled a foundation of education being important. And there's nothing wrong with that. I need you guys to get a grip. This is absolutely ridiculous.
It's absolutely not okay. Anything under an 85 is not okay.
I'm sure there's a bunch of brown kids on this app that can relate to this. I know I can. But my parents were a little more strict, and they said anything under a 90 is not okay. And yeah, it was a lot of pressure at the time, but I know that they were only looking out for me. As a child of Indian immigrants, my parents always associated getting good grades, going to a good college, getting a good job with making more money. Yeah. Which was the whole reason why they wanted me to get good grades in school. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's the Indian immigrant mentality, because I know nowadays there's different ways to make money. And the comments from this video just aren't it. The comments say stuff like, how to give your child anxiety, or, oh, childhood trauma, how to push your child away from you at a young age. And I can understand in extreme situations where parents are very, very strict, that can actually cause some major trauma to their children. But if this type of pressure and freedom is given in an equal balance, it can work out really well. And I know for me, I needed that pressure. I needed that fire lit under my ass to be the better person that I am now. I needed that push, something to just like make me better. And I had this pressure from my parents to just always do good. But at the same time, my parents also gave me the freedom to do whatever I wanted as long as my grades were well. And having the freedom to do what you want with this pressure wasn't so bad. It wasn't bad at all. And this is also how I plan to raise my own kids. A healthy amount of pressure is just the push for your kid to do better. And I think that's exactly what the parents in this video are trying to do. So all the comments on this TikTok saying all these ridiculous things, just chill.
Asana, tell Appa that you had a 50 on your science test.
Leave it to Vidya for spicy brown girl content, and I'm here for it. Okay, so I grew up in the Bay. I went to a notorious high school that was incredibly stressful. So those are my credentials to be able to talk about this. And I was a Kumon kid for at least a little bit of my life. But what's really interesting is I grew up in a family where my test scores mattered, but not in the way that you think you did. And I'm really grateful for what my dad did growing up. Once I understood it. So I also was asked a question like, you know, what did you get on your test? And if I said 97, my parents would be like, where did the last 3 go? But that was not because they cared about me acing the test. My dad's biggest concern, especially my dad, was that he didn't want me to think that I could not achieve those last 3 points, right? Or in this case, like if I got a 50, that I couldn't achieve the last 50 points. His biggest concern was always that if I wanted to, every piece of information educationally is accessible for me to conquer. And that if I chose to not do it, that's fine. So for example, if I told my dad, hey, I only got a 50 because I only did half the test and I wanted to leave early to watch a movie or something, he'd be like, that's whatever, that's stupid, but that's my choice. He's always told me that like education is a tool to empower me to make the decisions that I want in my life, but the decisions are mine. So he's less concerned about me getting 100 for the sake of getting 100. He was always worried that there was material out there that I didn't understand. And he was like, there's no reason that you couldn't understand it. Is there like a formula that you don't understand? Is an application that you don't understand? Is there a tricky form of like doing something that you don't understand? And he cared so much about the learning aspect that the last points represented opportunities missed for me should I want them. And that's how I've always thought about it, is that getting, and so like, I never got 100 on tests. I've always missed them. But as long as I felt like I absorbed as much of the material and I didn't feel like I was not worthy enough to get that 100, because there is nothing stopping any human from understanding that material, then in that manner, I've aced the test, and I will forever be grateful for my dad for that.
Asana, tell Appa that you had a 50 on your science test.
This is one of the reasons why this demographic has the highest average income for an American household. And this is something that I admire so much about this community. They keep the standard high when it comes to their children. We have gotten to a place in America where we are coddling children. We're giving them participation trophies. We're emphasizing them like they're not capable of going to school, doing homework, doing work, or working hard. And as a parent, you have to keep your foot on the gas. Sometimes a child is truly just not capable of being an A student, and that's okay. But there's no reason why a child should be failing tests, especially in public school. Public school is designed so that the lowest achieving child can still succeed and get a diploma and go to graduation. So if you have a child that's of average, average IQ and average capabilities, if they're failing something, it's because they're not working hard enough. And as a parent, it's your job to keep the foot on the gas. I used to tell my son all the time, your first job is to be a student and everything else after that.
Asana, tell Appa that you had a 50 on your science test.
Okay, people are stitching this already, but I wanted to hop on here and react to this as a South Asian girly who wasn't over the top amazing in school. First thing I want to say though, get this out of the way, good parents should absolutely be involved in their children's education, their grades and how they're doing in school, and should be pushing them and encouraging them to do the best that they can do. Now, I've talked about this before, but I wasn't amazing in school. I wasn't a bad student, I was a good student, but when you think of like brown kids, South Asian kids, overachieving, all these AP classes, STEM, girls and guys, like that was not me. And I was upfront with my parents about this because they clearly could see the difference between like my humanities grades and my math grades over the years. And it was clear to them that I was excelling in humanities and English and history over STEM. But that didn't stop them from encouraging me to do my best. And even things like Kumon, like I know people who have stitched this have talked about how things like Kumon, like what Vidya does with her kids, how Kumon has helped them. Kumon didn't work for me at all, but you know what did make me realize? It made me and my parents realize the root of some things that I struggled in, especially when it came to math and science, wasn't necessarily from the content, but from testing and having test anxiety. With that in mind, in middle school and some parts of high school, I was able to get like targeted tutoring to work towards overcoming my test anxiety and being able to do better on tests. Now, the reason I talk about this is because, I graduated high school with pretty good grades. I graduated college with a decent GPA. Obviously, I am where I am now, but I am actively considering looking into going into a master's program. And there is some standardized testing required for that, GRE, GMAT, what have you. And the reason why I'm saying this is now at age 24, even though I'm also not actively in the classroom anymore, I'm looking to go back to education, but even my career, that discipline, the work ethic, everything that's associated with going through schooling, initial, elementary, middle, high school, will follow you for the rest of your life. So it's not even about the grades, because trust me, I used to be so hung up on grades too. It's not about Vidya or her husband, being like, oh, like your entire, like I'm sure they don't value their children based on the grades they get, but it's more about instilling good habits and good work ethic early on. And when it comes to me, possibly going back to business school, applying for my master's and having to take the GRE, GMAT, having to study and having that test anxiety again, am I scared? Hell yeah, I'm scared. But I also know I am way better off because of the good habits and the good work ethic and all things that I got from my education because of how my parents guided me.
I've been seeing so many people flame Vidya's family on the internet for her parenting style with her kids, because there was that one viral video where basically like she told her dad that like she failed an exam and he was like, oh, you should only get A's or B's or whatever. And I wanted to give input as like a brown kid myself who's also been in a lot of the similar like tutoring things and things that her kids are currently doing. So to preface this, when I was younger, I was in RSM, and this was around high school. And when I was in middle school or like elementary school, I was in Kumon. And I was the worst Kumon student. Like I would hide the papers under somewhere and be like, oh, I lost them, so that I didn't have to do it. But that being said, Kumon and both Vedic maths have made me really good at mathematics nowadays. Like this morning, I was on FaceTime with someone and they were like, okay, do a math question. And they literally had me multiply like a 2 by 2 digit number. And I was able to do it like as someone who was like still half asleep because of what I learned in Kumon and Vedic maths. I think the other thing that people fail to realize is that both of her kids are like 7th grade or younger, which is a pretty young age. I feel like school starts to get particularly difficult once you reach high school, but before that, it's not too bad. And the important thing to understand here is that both parents stay at home pretty much, where like one is like a lawyer working from home, and then obviously like Vidya is a content creator working primarily from home. But that means like they are pretty engaged with their kids and, you know, helping them out with their education if they need anything. And I think that like when you're in elementary school, if you're able to learn how to study well, you'll be successful for the rest of your life, or your life will come a lot easier. The other thing I always see people flame her about is the fact that she makes her kids do 30 minutes of reading like every single day. And when I was in elementary school or even middle school, like I would read to the point where like I didn't do my homework. And now as someone with social media, I can see myself developing signs of having trouble focusing because of social media and because of my phone. And I'm worried, honestly, for the new generation of kids who are getting access to phones so early in life. I got access to my first smartphone when I was in the end of middle school. And I remember on 8th grade, on my birthday, I wanted a smartphone. And guess what? My parents got me a flip phone. And I was so mad then. But I can start to see the signs of like how I have such a hard time focusing now with the smartphone. And I can't even imagine how it is for kids who easily have access to iPads and other devices when they should be like going outside and like being able to focus on something. I'm gonna be so vulnerable right now, but like I have started to read again because I was like, I need to develop this habit of being able to focus on something for a longer period of time. And it is so difficult for me as a kid who spent her entire childhood reading. And now I can see the effects of like what the phone has done to me, because I'm constantly craving something quicker, something that gives me like an instant satisfaction. And I always am reading a book, and it's like an interesting book too. And I always find myself trying to reach for my phone or something else. And I literally have to force myself to read my book because my attention disorder or whatever has gotten so bad. I think at the end of the day, I think the way that Vidya is going about her kids, especially at this age, is really, really good because she's setting themselves up for success. And one thing I kind of wish that my parents were a little bit more like on top of me was with like my grades in elementary school, because I did like screw around a lot. Like I had fun, like I had a good childhood, but like at the same time, even in high school, I legit didn't know how to learn. Like, I never was able to learn my learning style and how to do well in school. And, like, I literally had to learn that in college. And I've seen that with so many other students. But if you start doing well in your elementary school by more specifically learning how you learn and how you're able to grasp a concept and get ready for an exam or some sort of test, you'll be so much better off when things start to get harder in middle school and high school. And the last part is, it really is true that your grades can give you so many opportunities in life. Am I saying that if you don't get good grades, like you can't get good opportunities? No, of course not. But getting grades will make it so much easier in the future for recruiters to look at your resume and things like that. And it is much, much harder in the industry if you're not having good grades and you don't have connections.
So the video that I posted about getting a bad grade got a lot of people talking in the comment section. I've also seen a lot of stitches on this in support of setting standards for your kids. Why don't we get ready together? I want to talk about our strict rules. Number one, my kids need to read at least 30 minutes a day, even on the weekends. We have seen that kids simply cannot read. 7th graders are reading at a 3rd grade level, and high schoolers are reading at a 6th grade level. Every single day, that is a must. Number two is no phones allowed in your bedroom. This only really applies to my oldest, but if you need to make a phone call, you can do that downstairs in another room. I do not want your phone in your room. So we do no screen time Monday through Thursday. So no phone unless you need to call a friend, and no TV. Kids are so busy with homework, after school activities, dinner anyway, that there's really no time. Obviously in the summer that changes. And when they do get screen time, we do set limits on that as well. Hour on the phone, maximum. Of course, TV is a little over 2 hours if they're watching a movie. Do not allow our kids to use their phones or iPads at restaurants at all. This was a really hard one to let go of. When we did allow our kids to bring devices into restaurants, they displayed zombie-like behaviors. Screen time free for over 2 years, and it has made such a big difference. We can actually have conversations, we can laugh, we can talk. And I want to make it very clear that this doesn't apply for every kid, but this is what worked for us. And the last strict rule for us, while it might be controversial, you are absolutely 100% expected to do well in school. And if they are struggling, we will absolutely help them with what they need to succeed. Of course, every kid is different, and I'm sure there are challenges along the way, but we know that our kids are very capable of doing well in school. And this is what works for us. I hope this was helpful. Love you guys.
I love to know your own take of people's take and the mom's response to this whole conversation. I love to know your own take down in the comment section, but please keep it respectful. As always, you're on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we'll do it in a respectful way. So feel free, share your opinion. Guys, my own take on this is that I personally, I'm going to have a different take on this conversation, because I did a video of how we talk about how parents were not as supportive as they could to help their children, especially immigrant children and even black community, to navigate life and do life. And I personally, I feel like I'm dyslexic because going through school, going through academics was very, very hard for me, and I struggle all year. The fact that I was able to go through school and do all that, it was hard. People didn't understand how much hard I had to work so that I could pass my grade, I could come out with good grades. People still don't understand how much. If today I tell my mom that I have a learning disorder, my mom will like, what? What's that? But that's not something that is being talked about or being had as a conversation. But I know for sure that I have a learning. It's not as if I'm not smart. It's not as if I'm not intelligent. But I have a learning disorder. I remember being in high school. Even in school generally, anything that has to do with me concentrating to read is a problem, because what I see and what I read is kind of not making sense. Okay, and also that also made my retention span, like I get distracted easily. So it was really hard for me to navigate that space of being good. I was never like the top 5 best students. No, I was always an average student all my life. And for me, growing up, it wasn't something that I was able to have that conversation with my parent, or somebody was able to identify and say, oh, this child has a problem. And the way this woman chooses to raise a child is on her, like, kudos for her. Whatever is working for you as a family should work for you. And this woman knows her kids better. I am of the opinion that if I have a child, or there's a child I have to take care of, is the fact that I'm going to make sure the child realize and know that you can do anything, just give it your best. As much as I had dyslexia, so yeah, the power is back. Okay, so as much as this mom, she knows her kids better, but one thing I will encourage parents is the fact that pay attentive and know who your child is. And one size doesn't fit all when it comes to your child. When it comes to, oh, this is how my children know, one size doesn't fit one. Okay, like I'll say my younger ones were very good academically. I was not. It was a tussle. I was good in math. I could add up maths really quick, but reading was a problem. Geography, I was very good. I was very good in geography. I was very good in further maths. Maths that people were thinking was so hard, I could easily comprehend it because it has nothing to do with letters, because I wasn't jumbling words together. So that was it. So for parents, I'll say building your child, not just academically, building your child in a diverse way, it's very, very important. But letting your child know that they can achieve anything they put their mind to, it's also very important. But I will not be that parent, probably because of my own trauma of being dyslexic and nobody paid attention to me like that. I'm going to give my children grace over scores. Scores are no big deal when it comes to me. My own is that, is this your best? If that's your best, that's cool. Because all my life I was made to feel, which built a lot of insecurity on my own part. I was made to feel like my best wasn't good enough, when in reality, in my head and my struggle, that was the best I was given. I was given, like, every exam, I was given everything. Like I'll put all, like, the way I would try so hard to read, to concentrate and all that. And I remember when I got to the university, I had to start doing audios. I had to start trying to rewrite my notes and read it as audio so that I can listen to it rather than read it repeatedly to get it. And the way the educational system is here in Nigeria, you need to or you won't graduate or and all that. And I feel like the culture of really pushing your children, pushing them really hard between the Asian and Africa, I feel like is the same. Like I feel like they are both on the same level. So for me personally, I'm not that parent, or I will not be that parent or that person that's going to pressurize my kids over scores. No, because I understood how that pressure was for me and how that affects me and even my confidence, and made me always feel like I was never good enough, I would never be amount to anything and all that. But before I go, I also want to point out that yes, being successful in school gives you better opportunities for you to do other things, for you to try other things, unlike when you don't have education. So all what I'm saying, I'm not saying education is not important. What I'm saying that I'm not going to pressurize my kid, and going to school, having an education, it is very, very important. It's better to have an education and then you choose that, oh, you want to be an artist or you want to be something. It's better to than for you to think that you want to be an artist and then you didn't succeed in being an artist, and then you don't have an education, and then you're trying to get it. Am I making sense? But also, I'm also of the opinion, like the type of climate and society we live, not everybody needs education. Not everybody. Listen, not everybody needs education. I know of people that have gone their master's degrees and all that, and yet they still can make life. They still can make ends meet. Not everybody needs an education. If you see a child that is gifted with vocational and all that training, I'll say teach your child towards that. I know that from African and even other race family and parents that do this is because they are scared for their child not to be financially stable in life, and that is why they push as hard for them when it comes to academics, because the way society was formed, I feel like it's changing, is you have good grades, then you have good jobs. But from what I've seen in my society, in my culture, in my environment, I know people that have amazing grades, they don't. I know women that have amazing grades. They are just moms. They are probably in the market selling because they cannot, it's not that they are not qualified for job, they cannot afford to go to job because they have children to raise and take care of. So a vocational skill, if you see a child, that encourage them to do vocational skills. If you see somebody, like, I feel like if you're going to do certain things in life, you should go to school. But also I feel like the basic education, just like this woman's children are, a child should get it. A basic education, like a child must get it. But when it comes to the higher institution and all that, and the child is able to, you are able to study the child, and the child is able to know their strength and their weakness, I encourage vocational training and other, we call it handwork. But basic school, primary, secondary school, even college, I feel like it is important. Go through it and then ask yourself, what do you want to do? Because now the way the world is moving now, not just academic people are being successful, because that's the main goal for everybody trying to get the best grade in school, is to be financially stable. But also now we find out that there are other ways to do that. If that's your goal of pushing your kids hard so that they can be financially stable, then also look at other options for them if they are not academically there. I don't know if I'm making sense. Anyway, guys, please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Love to know what you think about this amazing conversation down in the comment section. But please keep it respectful as always. Here on this channel, we are allowed to disagree, but do it in a respectful way. So feel free to share your opinion. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push out my content for more people to see. And that will be you supporting this channel and this girl, yeah? With that all said, guys, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.